Romance of Sui and Tang Dynasties Chapter 64.
We're in the 7th year of the Wud reign, from Sui Tang Yani, Chapter 64. Now, for those who might think this sounds, a bit dry,
It's anything but.
let me stop you right there. This reads less like a dusty chronicle and more like, well, like the script of a high-stakes political thriller.
Or maybe even a noir film. It really does. It has everything. Secret meetings, bribery,
Forbidden romance.
and this looming sense of dread. But to look past the drama and understand the mechanics of a coup in the making.
Right. We're going to see how a chance encounter, a few glasses of wine,
And some fancy belts.
and some fancy belts
Yeah.
essentially doomed a dynasty's peace.
So let's set the stage. The text, it paints this picture of the emperor.
The founder of the Tang dynasty.
Exactly. And he's in a bad way. He's aging, he's unwell, and he has retreated into the Dengxiao Palace.
And crucial context here. He hasn't just retreated.
No, he's locked it down. He's barred entry to almost everyone.
In political terms, that is a massive danger signal.
Oh, it's a huge one. It's a power vacuum. When the central authority, the emperor, goes silent, the gravity in the palace just...
It shifts.
Everyone else starts scrambling for position.
Precisely.
And orbiting the silent center, we have our key players. On one side, we have the hero of the era, Qin Wang, also known as Li Shimin.
The guy winning all the wars.
Right. But he's not in this scene. No, he's conspicuously absent. And that absence is what drives the whole plot.
So instead, we are focusing on his rivals. And this is where the Sui Tang Yani gives us such incredible character studies.
It really does.
We are introduced to two of the emperor's favorite concubines, Lady Zhang and Lady Yin.
These two are fascinating. If you look at the text closely, it gives us their backstory, which is, well, it's vital for understanding their motivation.
What is?
They were favorites of the previous dynasty's emperor, Sui Wendi.
Which is wild to think about. I mean, the Sui dynasty falls, chaos ensues.
Total chaos.
A new dynasty rises, and somehow these two women managed to not only survive the purge, but claw their way back to the very top of the hierarchy under the new emperor.
That is some serious survival instinct.
Right.
Exactly. That tells you everything you need to know about their political acumen. They aren't just decorative, they are survivors.
And the text makes a point of their age. They're over 30.
Right, which in ancient imperial terms, especially for concubines, that's often considered past prime. But the source makes a very specific point to say they are more interesting as they age.
I loved that line. It says their mocking and playful nature became more refined.
It paints them as experienced operators. They know where the bodies are buried because,
They probably helped bury them.
Exactly. And because the current emperor has, settled into a routine, these two women have the run of the place.
But they have a grievance.
They do. They've formed a clique with two of the emperor's sons, Prince Jiancheng and Prince Yuanji, but they absolutely despise the other one,
Li Shimin.
Li Shimin.
So why is that? Is it just a personality clash?
Well, it's structural and it's personal.
Yeah.
Li Shimin is the military man. He relies on merit, on results.
Right.
The text says the ladies feel he treats them with a cold, formal bow.
So he's not playing the game.
He doesn't play their game of flattery and access. He respects the office, not the influence peddling.
Whereas the other princes, Jiancheng and Yuanji, are more than happy to play that game.
More than happy. So you have this tense atmosphere. The emperor's sick. The palace is quiet.
Too quiet.
And frankly, these powerful women are bored.
Boredom in a palace is dangerous.
Very dangerous. Lady Yin decides she needs entertainment. So she sends her maid, a girl named Xiao Ying, to go invite another consort to play kuju.
Okay, hold on. Kuju, that's basically kickball.
Essentially, yes. It's an ancient Chinese sport, very similar to football or kickball.
Wow. So think about the juxtaposition there. The emperor is arguably dying a few halls away. The political situation is a powder keg.
And they want to play kickball.
It just screams detachment. It shows they're living in a total bubble.
Yeah.
So they send this maid, Shuayin, out into the empty corridors.
And this is it. This is the inciting incident. The simple errand turns into a conspiracy.
How?
Because the palace isn't as empty as it seems. Xiao Ying bumps into the two princes, Jiancheng and Yuanji.
Now, I want to dig into this interaction because the power dynamics here are so strange.
They are, aren't they?
You have two royal princes, sons of the emperor, and a maid. You would expect them to be commanding. Get out of the way, or where is your mistress?
But that's not what happens at all. Xiaoying actually scolds them.
She does. She's laughing, but she's reprimanding them. She says, why are you here now? Why didn't you come during the birthdays?
Right, she mentions Lady Zhang's birthday was on the 10th and Lady Yin's on the 13th.
She's basically saying, you guys missed the giant parties where you could have blended in. Now the palace is on lockdown, and you're wandering around like idiots.
And it reveals that the maid feels comfortable enough to speak down to princes.
Yeah.
That implies her mistresses hold the real power here. And look at the prince's reaction. They don't get angry.
They try to charm her.
They do. The text describes them as men of wine and color. That's a loaded phrase.
It is. What exactly does color mean here?
In this context, color implies lust or superficial pleasure. It marks them as unserious men.
And then Prince Jiansheng physically pulls Xiaoying aside.
Note the setting. He pulls her behind a flower barrier.
It's such a cinematic detail. It's secretive, it's intimate, and a little bit predatory.
It is. He starts interrogating her, but really he's flirting to get access. He wants to know if they can visit the ladies.
And here we get to the MacGuffin of the scene, if you will.
Your bribe.
The bribe. The princes realize they need Xiaoying's help to sneak in.
Yeah.
So, to prove they are serious, they untie their belts.
And these are not just any belts.
No, these aren't just leather straps. The source calls them, and I practice this, 8 treasure, 10 brocade union silk bird belts.
Quite a mouthful.
Sounds expensive.
It's incredibly opulent. But think about the symbolism. In the Tang dynasty, your dress code was your identity. The belt held your road together. It secured your chaotic human form into a civilized silhouette.
So by taking off their belts and handing them to a maid.
They're literally undoing their propriety. It's an intimate, almost desperate gesture. They are handing over a symbol of their status to a servant just to buy access.
It signals a complete lack of boundaries.
A total lack. And it works. Xiaoying takes the belts.
And the princes rush home to get real gifts.
Right, boxes of pearls and jade, and they hatch a plan to sneak back in. But they don't use the front door.
Of course not.
No. They agree to use the Huzamin, the rear butcher's gate.
The name says it all, doesn't it? This isn't the Golden Gate of Heavenly Peace.
No, this is where the sausage gets made. Literally, it's the service entrance.
So it's where they take out the trash.
It's likely where waste was removed or animals were brought in for the kitchens for princes of the blood to sneak through the butcher's gate. I mean, it metaphorically drags them down into the muck.
They are debasing themselves.
Completely. All to maintain this political alliance.
So fast forward a bit. They grab their golden dragon boxes full of treasure. They sneak through the butcher's gate.
And Xiaoying is waiting for them.
And there's a tiny detail here I want to ask you about. The text says Xiaoying is standing there biting her finger.
It's a great psychological touch, isn't it?
It is. What does that suggest?
Well, biting the finger usually suggests anticipation mixed with anxiety. She knows she's facilitating something illicit. If they get caught, she's the first one to lose her head.
But she leads them in. They enter the private chambers. And here is where the scene shifts from a heist movie to more of a social drama.
Yeah.
The princes, having snuck in through the trash entrance, suddenly try to act like royalty again.
It's absurd theater.
They try to perform the grand ceremony, kneeling on carpets, hailing the consorts.
They're trying to maintain the facade of, we are loyal sons paying respects to our father's wives.
But the ladies Zhang and Yin, they're having none of it.
Not at all. They physically stop them.
They physically stop them. They drag them up. Lady Zhang says, don't do that. You'll kill us with that kind of formality.
And Lady Yin insists on common family courtesy.
That phrase, common family courtesy, is the key to the lock, isn't it?
It is. By rejecting the formal protocol, the ladies are destroying the hierarchy. In a formal setting, there is a wall between prince and emperor's consort. By saying, let's just be family, they are leveling the playing field. They're creating a conspiratorial space where they are all just partners.
So they move the party upstairs to a tower. The text compares the view to the Qijang banquet.
Which is the gold standard for parties in this era. Yes.
And the table is piled with delicacies.
From land and sea. Contrast this with the emperor who is sick and isolated nearby. These four are creating a bubble of extreme luxury and pleasure right in the middle of a crisis.
Once the wine starts flowing, the conversation finally turns to the real reason they are there.
Politics.
This is the intellectual core of, up until now, it's been sneaking and flirting.
Right. Now they are negotiating a pact.
The princes start with a confession. They admit, We wanted to come earlier, but we were afraid of father.
Which is so telling. They fear the emperor, but they don't respect him.
If they respected him, they wouldn't be there.
Exactly.
And then they pivot immediately to their common enemy.
Ah.
Of course, the ladies start complaining. They say he's arrogant, that he relies on his merits. It's so ironic they are angry that he's actually good at his job.
Well, competence is often a threat to those who rely on favoritism. But then the ladies drop a bombshell. They reveal a specific piece of political maneuvering.
This is the Luoyang incident.
Right. Historically, there was a proposal for Li Shimin to move to Luoyang and establish his own base of operations there.
Which would have been smart. It would have separated the brothers and kept the peace.
It would have. Li Shimin would have been safe there. He would have had his own independence.
But the ladies reveal that they are the ones who killed that plan.
Exactly. They claim they went to the emperor repeatedly, whispering in his ear, manipulating his emotions to keep Li Shimin in the capital.
Why? Why keep him close if they hate him so much?
Because if he's in Luoyang, he has an army, he has autonomy, he's out of their reach. If he's in the capital, trapped in the palace protocols, he is under their thumb.
That is chilling. They are keeping him within striking distance.
Yes. And then Lady Zhang delivers the line that basically seals the deal.
What's that?
She says, as long as the four of us work together, we don't have to fear Qin Wang flying up to the heavens.
Wow. That is the thesis statement of this entire chapter.
Yeah.
As long as the four of us work together.
It's the formalization of the bloc. The princes provide the legitimacy and the connections to the outer court.
And the concubines provide the access to the emperor's the inner court.
It's a pincer movement. Li Shimin is surrounded.
And notice the self-justification in there.
Yeah.
They don't say, let's destroy him so we can grab power.
No. They say, we need to protect ourselves because he is so arrogant and dangerous.
Everyone is the hero of their own story. Right.
Especially then.
So they have the agreement. But they don't stop there. The text says the tone shifts again. We go from political strategy to what the outline calls the descent into debauchery.
Yeah, the text doesn't hold back here. They start playing drinking games, guessing fingers and fists. The source explicitly states, wine is the matchmaker of color.
There's that word again. Color.
Implying lust. And it says the princes feign drunkenness.
Wait, feign. So you think they aren't actually drunk?
The text suggests they use the appearance of drunkenness to lower the boundaries further. If you're drunk, you can get away with behavior that would be unacceptable if you were sober.
Plausible deniability.
Exactly.
But we have to talk about the taboo here. I mean, for a modern listener, this sounds like a wild party. But in the context of Confucian values.
It is nuclear. In a Confucian society, filial piety, respect for your father, is the foundation of the entire universe.
And these princes are partying with their father's wives.
While their father is sick just rooms away.
It's almost incestuous.
It is framed as incestuous treason. It creates a picture of total moral rot. The author is signaling to the reader, look at these people, they have no moral compass.
And the text explicitly links this party to the violence that comes later. It says, of 10,000 evils, lust is the first. It leads hands and feet to kill one another.
Hands and feet. It's a common metaphor for brothers.
Oh, wow. So it's saying this lust, this lack of discipline, is the direct cause of the fratricide, the brother killing that happens later.
Yes. It's framing the political history through a moral lens. The source is arguing that it was the inevitable explosion caused by this kind of corruption. The emperor is on his deathbed, or at least he's very, very sick.
And that means a power vacuum is opening up.
It is. The core conflict is between his sons. It's the ultimate sibling rivalry.
Okay, so who are the players?
On one side, you've got what you might call the establishment brothers.
Yeah.
That's the Crown Prince, Jiancheng, and Prince Yuanji. And then on the other side, you have
The second son, Li Shimin.
who is known by his title, Qin Wang. And just for context, Qin Wang is the competent one.
He's the golden child.
He's the military genius, the one actually holding the empire together.
Yeah.
And because of that, his brothers are, frankly, terrified of him. They know if he's still standing when their father dies, their own power is threatened.
So they want him gone. That's the basic tension.
That's the baseline. It's a political powder keg.
So with all that going on, the scene we're jumping into doesn't start in a war council. It starts with a party. And party might be too polite a word.
I think it is. It's incredibly reckless. These two brothers, Jiancheng and Yuanji, deep inside the palace.
And their father is sick just a few rooms away.
Exactly. But instead of, praying or governing, they're drinking. And they are not drinking alone. They're with concubine Zhang and concubine Yin.
And we need to be very clear about who these women are.
Yeah, these are not just some random courtiers. These are the emperor's favorite concubines. They are, for all intents and purposes, their father's wives.
That is a massive taboo.
It's huge. In the Tang court, it's beyond scandalous. It's incestuous. It's treasonous. If this gets out, it is a capital offense.
But reading the source, they don't seem that worried about it.
Yeah.
The language is almost poetic. It mentions pure wind and jade chime. It sounds so elegant.
Well, that's the narrative style, right? It's describing this scene of total relaxation. They've sent all the servants away. They're drinking wine, playing music. The text uses a very specific phrase. They're engaging in the Wushan cloud dream.
Which sounds lovely, but I have a feeling it's not about the weather.
No, it's a very famous literary euphemism for sexual intimacy. So let's just be blunt. While the emperor is fighting for his life down the hall, his sons and his wives are having an illicit orgy.
Wow.
And they're described as being full of joy, totally comfortable in their betrayal.
That comfort is what gets me. It implies they feel untouchable.
I think they do. It's the arrogance of power.
So let's do the split screen. While this is all going on in the concubine's chambers, where is our other main character? Where is Qin Wang?
He is living in a completely different reality. The text really emphasizes his filial piety. For 6 or 7 days, he has not left his father's bedside.
6 or 7 days straight.
The phrase is morning and evening inspection. He is personally serving the medicine day and night.
So he must be exhausted.
He is running on fumes. Hasn't gone home, hasn't changed his clothes. He's the dedicated son keeping his father alive while his brothers are, tearing the family apart down the hall.
The contrast is just brutal. The partiers and the caregiver. And this is where the plot starts to move, right? The emperor starts to get a little better.
Yeah, thanks to Qin Wang's care, his fever breaks. He wakes up, sees his son looking like a total wreck, and basically says, okay, I'm feeling a bit better. You've done enough. Go home, take a bath, get some rest.
And Qin Wang, being the good son, he follows orders, he bows out, and this is the moment. He's leaving the emperor's quarters. It's dusk. The palace is shadowy.
And he's walking past a building called the Fengong Lu, the Separation Palace Tower, and he stops.
Why?
Because in a palace that should be completely somber and quiet, he hears music.
Zithers and singing.
Right, and his radar just goes up. I mean, remember, this guy's a general. He notices when things are out of place. Why is there a party happening? So he gets closer to the wall to listen.
He gets the shock of his life.
He does. He hears a voice he recognizes, making a very specific toast. The text quotes it directly. This large cup should be for Big Brother to drink, but I finished it first.
Big Brother.
That's the smoking gun. He knows that voice. It's Prince Yuanji talking to Crown Prince Jiancheng. He knows where they are, concubine Zhang's apartments, and he puts it all together in an instant.
My brothers are in bed with my father's wives.
The text says he realizes they're engaging in lust and chaos,
Oh.
and his blood just runs cold.
I can imagine. His first reaction has to be just pure fury.
Oh, absolutely. The text says he wants to knock on the door, he wants to burst in, catch them in the act, drag them out. It's the natural reaction.
FBI. Open up.
Basically. But then he freezes. And this is what makes Qin Wang so fascinating. He stops his hand. He starts thinking 2-3 steps ahead.
He thinks about the emperor.
Exactly. He realizes, if I cause a scene right now, if I expose this incest and treason in some violent way, the shock of it will kill my father.
Who's barely holding on as it is.
Right. A scandal this huge would be a death sentence for the old man.
So that is a terrible position to be in. You can't ignore the crime because it's dangerous, but you can't expose the crime because that's deadly.
So he has to thread this impossible needle. He needs a way to stop them without blowing up the whole palace. He decides on a silent warning.
He's going to leave a message, but not a note. He takes off his jade belt.
And we have to pause on the belt because in the Tang Dynasty, a jade belt isn't just an accessory. It's a symbol of his specific rank and identity. It's intricate, valuable.
And instantly recognizable as his.
Totally. It's like leaving his driver's license taped to the door.
So what did he do with it?
He hangs it on the coiling dragon and colorful phoenix gate right outside their little party palace. And his logic is it's very Confucian. He thinks they'll come out, they'll see it, they'll know it's mine, and they'll realize I was here, I heard them, and I chose to spare them.
He's trying to shame them.
He's hoping that the fear of being caught will force them to reform their past wrongs. He's betting on them having a conscience or at least a sense of self-preservation.
I know what you did. I have the leverage, so just straighten up.
Yeah.
It's a power move, but it's a merciful one.
It is. He hangs the belt and he goes home. He thinks he's handled it, But he has made a critical error.
He assumes his enemies think like he does.
He assumes they'll feel gratitude for his mercy.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
They do not.
Not even a little bit. So let's fast forward a few hours. It's the 5th watch, so about 5 in the morning. Sun's coming up. The party is breaking up.
It's the walk of shame.
A very emotional one. The text describes Jian Sheng holding the women's hands. They're all weeping. And they're actually talking about their paranoia. They're saying, we're so afraid of Qin Wang. If he ever gets power, he won't spare us.
Which is pretty ironic, considering what's waiting for them right outside the gate.
Oh, yeah. They walk out, and the night guard, who has probably been standing there all night wondering what to do,
Awkwardly holding this belt.
he approaches them and says, Your Highnesses, I don't know who hung this here, but here it is.
And the reaction.
Total panic. The text says their colors change. They go white. They recognize it instantly. That is Qin Wang's belt.
So, for a second, his plan actually works. They're terrified.
They are. They realize he was here. He heard us. He has proof. For a moment, they are completely paralyzed. They think they're doomed.
But panic is a funny thing. It can paralyze you, or it can make you incredibly dangerous. And concubine Zhang, she is dangerous.
She is the pivotal character in this entire story. While the men are just standing there shaking, she snaps into survival mode.
She sees an opening.
She looks at the belt and she basically says, stop crying. If we do nothing, we die. But he isn't here. We have his belt. Why are we the victims?
She's going to flip the script.
Completely. She suggests a counterattack. She uses this really vivid phrase. With my one mouth biting him hard, let's see where he can escape to.
Biting him hard.
She means framing him. She decides they're going to take this evidence of his mercy and twist it into evidence of a crime he committed.
They're going to accuse him of breaking in. They're going to accuse him of sexual assault.
Which is... it's diabolical.
Yeah.
But she's smart about it. She looks at the belt. It's a beautiful, pristine jade belt. You can't go to the emperor and say, he tried to attack me and then politely took his belt off and left it behind.
It doesn't fit the story of a violent struggle.
Not at all. So they have to tamper with the evidence.
This is the CSI moment of the story.
It's forensic counter-warfare. The concubines take this incredibly expensive jade belt and they destroy it. They get scissors or a knife, and they literally cut the connections. They sever the silk, holding the jade plaques together. They rough up all the edges.
They're manufacturing a struggle.
Exactly. They need the belt to look like it was ripped off a man's body by a woman fighting for her life. A broken belt tells a story of violence and chaos. A pristine belt tells a story of undressing. They need the first story.
That is just so dark. They're literally cutting the truth out of the object.
And once the prop is ready, it's showtime. Concubines Zhang and Yin, they don't wait to be summoned. They just burst into the emperor's chambers.
The performance begins.
And it is a performance. They throw themselves on the floor. The text describes them as tearful, distraught, hair a mess, makeup running. They are selling the trauma.
And then they drop the lie. What exactly do they tell the emperor?
They claim that in the middle of the night, Qin Wang broke into their palace. They say he was greatly drunk, that he used sweet words and flirtatious language to try to seduce them.
Which, if you know anything about Qin Wang, is already a huge red flag.
A huge one. And they say when they refused him, he turned violent. He tried to force himself on them. And in the struggle, they managed to grab his belt and tear it off just as he fled.
And here's the proof. Here's the broken belt.
They present the physical evidence. Look at this snap. Look at this tear. This proves he attacked us.
Wow. So put yourself in the emperor's shoes. You're sick. You're just waking up. There are screaming women on your floor, and they're telling you your war hero son is a predator.
You'd think he'd just snap. But the emperor, and I love this detail in the text, he doesn't buy it. Not at first.
He sees a hole in the plot.
He has this moment of just lucid critical thinking. He looks at them and says, hold on. Li Shimin was with me all night, nursing me. I sent him home myself. He was stone cold sober. He hasn't had wine in a week. So where is this greatly drunk coming from?
He catches them on the timeline. His alibi is himself.
Exactly. He knows the entire premise of their story is flawed. He knows his son's character. Qin Wang is disciplined. And the emperor even offers them an alternative theory right there on the spot.
He tries to rationalize it for them.
Yeah, he says, look, I see the belt. It's his. But maybe he walked too fast and it fell off. Or maybe he just lost it in the garden and one of your servants found it. And now you're using it to flew him because you don't like him.
Wow. He basically calls them out. He says, you're framing him. He is so close to the truth.
He is standing right on top of the truth. He has the logic. He has the character assessment. But the concubines, they know that logic is brittle, especially for a sick old man.
They know emotion is a sledgehammer.
So when the facts fail, they pivot to feelings. They just double down. They don't argue the timeline. They argue their relationship with him.
How can you trust him over us?
They say, "We have served your majesty for years. Have we ever lied to you? Have we ever falsely accused anyone?" And they just turn up the volume. The text says they use enchanting and seductive states along with all the weeping.
They're using their beauty and their grief as a weapon. They just overwhelm him.
It's emotional attrition. They just wear him down until he breaks.
And he does.
That's exactly what happens. The emperor is physically too weak to keep fighting this battle. He is forced to act. He can't just have his wife screaming on the floor all day. He has to resolve the chaos.
So what does he do? Does he order an execution? Does the belt condemn Qin Wang?
He steps back from that ledge. He doesn't execute him. But he compromises his own logic. He writes a note and summons a high official, a man named Li Gang. And he orders Li Gang to go to Qin Wang's house and interrogate him. He just wants to know why Qin Wang entered the palace.
So it becomes a legal matter. Go get his statement.
But the damage is done. The seed of doubt is planted. And, most importantly, the physical evidence, that cut-up belt, is now officially entered into the record as proof of an assault.
The meaning of the object has been completely overwritten.
Completely.
It is such a tragic irony. Qin Wang tried to take the high road. He tried to protect his father from the pain of the truth, and because he didn't just kick down the door and expose the ugly reality right then and there.
He gave his enemies the exact tool they needed to destroy him.
It really highlights this brutal lesson in high-stakes politics, doesn't it? That half measures are deadly.
They are. Qin Wang tried to navigate a middle path, this silent warning, but in doing so, he surrendered control of the narrative.
That is the key phrase. Control of the narrative.
Absolutely. When he left that belt, he left an object. And objects, despite what we said at the start, they don't really speak for themselves. They have to be interpreted.
Right.
And by leaving the belt and walking away, he let concubine Zhang be the interpreter. He let her write the caption for the photo.
And she was a ruthless editor. I mean, she literally edited the belt with a pair of scissors to fit her story.
She understood that the emperor, and I think people in general, we struggle to disbelieve what we can see with our own eyes. He could see the broken belt. That visual evidence was so powerful that it overrode his own knowledge of his son's character and the impossibility of the timeline. Okay, so let's go back to that belt. Qin Wang hangs it up, he goes home, and the text says he's just tossing and turning all night, can't sleep. Sun comes up, he's trying to do some paperwork, and then a knock on the door. It's Li Gang, the censor.
And a visit from the censor is rarely good news. He's not there for tea. He's got an oral decree from the emperor.
So word travels fast.
Oh, yeah. The emperor's heard about the belt, and he's demanding an answer. He basically asks, what was that stunt all about? Why is your belt on my gate?
And this puts Qin Wang in a terrible spot, doesn't it? The whole reason he did it is because his father's favorite concubines are spreading lies about him.
Exactly. So he can't tell the truth without calling his father's lovers liars. But if he stays quiet, he looks guilty.
He's totally trapped.
He is. He's trapped by this idea of filial piety. You just don't attack your father's household.
Yeah.
So he tells Li Gang he refuses to be blackened, like white silk being dyed.
Yeah.
But he can't speak plainly. So instead of a direct answer, he does the most classically Chinese literati thing imaginable.
He writes a poem.
He writes a poem, a juju, a 4-line verse. Very restrictive. He writes it, seals it, and hands it over.
I love this part because it really shows you that poetry wasn't just art back then. It was a communication tool. It was code.
A secure channel.
Yeah. So let's break it down. The key lines are something like, family chickens and wild birds each leave their nests. Ugly states need not be knocked over one by one.
It sounds like something out of a nature documentary, right? But family chickens and wild birds is so loaded.
Okay, so what's the subtext?
The family chickens are the legitimate family,
Okay.
the sons. The wild birds are the interlopers. He's talking about the concubines, consort Zhang and consort Yin. He's basically calling them an invasive species in the family nest.
So, Dad, there are predators in the house. But then the poem gets more personal. The last two lines are hard to speak of the scene and emotion at the time. Speaking clearly might scorch the Sacred Heart.
That phrase, scorch the Sacred Heart, is brilliant. The Sacred Heart is the emperor. Qin Wang is saying, look, I know what's going on. I know the secrets, the plots, the affairs, but the truth is so ugly that if I told you, it would destroy you. It would burn you.
Wow. So he's protecting his father by keeping a secret, but at the same time, he's warning his enemies that he knows the secret.
Exactly. It's weaponized ambiguity. It forces the emperor to think, wait, what does he know that I don't? It just plants that seed of doubt.
So does the emperor get it? He opens the letter, he reads it, and...
Not really, no. He's just baffled. The text says he calls it a riddle. He turns to Li Gang for help.
And Li Gang wants no part of this.
Absolutely not. He's a savvy bureaucrat. He just quotes this old legalist maxim: to catch an adulterer, catch the pair. To catch a thief, catch the loot.
The ancient version of Pixar, it didn't happen.
Pretty much, yeah. He's telling the emperor to just ignore the rumors and the poetry. If there's no hard evidence, do nothing. Just wait and watch.
So the emperor is just sitting there, confused, holding this poem, and then 2 more people show up.
Right. But it's not the wild birds. It's 2 other consorts, Yuan and Lu. And you'd expect them to just pile on, but they do the exact opposite.
This is where it gets really interesting. It feels like a courtroom drama.
It really does. Consorts Zhang and Yin have already accused Qin Wang of trying to seduce them. But Yuan and Lu, they come in and defend him with just cold, hard logic. It's not emotional at all.
So what's their first point?
It's about opportunity. They remind the emperor about what happened when Qin Wang conquered Luoyang. He had the entire Sui treasury and the Sui harem at his fingertips.
Thousands of women, unimaginable wealth.
And what did he do? He sealed it all up, sent the women home, took nothing for himself.
So the logic is, if he didn't touch the thousands of women he could have had with 0 consequences, why would he risk his life for his father's concubines?
It's a devastatingly effective point. It makes the accusation just look absurd. But then they bring up a second argument, and this one involves themselves.
The land grant incident.
Yeah. They remind the emperor that they had asked for land for their families. The emperor even said yes, but Qin Wang refused to sign off on it.
He blocked his own father's decree.
Because it was against the law. He told them, no, it's against the rules. And they use that now. They say, look, this guy cares more about the law than getting on our good side. If he was trying to seduce us, he would have given us the land.
That's brilliant. They're not saying he's a nice guy. They're saying his entire profile, his data, proves he's incapable of this crime.
And it works. The emperor is completely swayed. He realizes the accusations are just, as the text says, blowing on fur to find flaws. Nitpicking. So he drops the whole thing.
Okay, so logic wins the day. For a minute, anyway. But this is the Tang court, so stability doesn't last. A messenger bursts in.
And it's tragic news. Princess Pingyang has died.
And we should be clear, she wasn't just any princess.
No, she was a general. She raised her own army, the Army of the Lady, and helped her father win the throne. She was a major player.
The emperor is heartbroken. He's weeping. But in the middle of his grief, another report comes in. The Tuyuhun tribes and the Turks are attacking the border.
And this is where you see the cold reality of running an empire. He turns to Chai Shao, that's Pingyang's husband who just became a widower, and he orders him to the front.
He literally says, finish her funeral quickly, then get on your horse and go fight.
Sorry for your loss, now go to war. It's brutal, but it shows that personal grief just doesn't matter when the state is at risk.
So Chai Shao is sent off, and that takes one more ally of Qin Wang out of the capital, which leads us to the Imperial Garden.
And the genre of our story is about to shift. Big time. We're going from courtroom drama to, well, an action movie.
The setup is casual enough. The emperor is watching his sons, Prince Qi and Prince Qin, testing out some horses.
And Prince Qi is the younger brother who hates Qin Wang. He's allies with the crown prince. And with Qin Wang is his bodyguard, the legendary general Yuqi Jingde.
The emperor says something nice about Yuqi's skill with a weapon, the single whip. And Prince Qi just snaps. He's so arrogant, he just can't stand it. He calls Yuqi a fraud and challenges him to a duel.
Right there in front of their dad. It's a total ego trip. He wants to use these heavy cavalry lances, shuo, to humiliate Yuqi in public.
And the terms are nuts. Prince Qi wants to use a real sharp-bladed spear. He's playing for keeps.
But Yuqi is so confident, or maybe just so contemptuous, that he ups the stakes. He says, fine, you use your blade. I'll take the spearhead off mine. I'll just use the wooden shaft.
He's basically saying, I can beat you with a stick. Can you imagine the disrespect?
It's a massive flex, so they mount up. Prince Qi is in full armor. He charges. But he doesn't go for Yuqi first. He takes a swing at Qin Wang.
A warning shot that looks an awful lot like attempted murder.
Qin Wang backs off, and Yuqi steps in. And it's not even a fight, it's a masterclass. Prince Qi is trying to skewer him with a lethal weapon, and Yuqi just weaves and dodges and literally snatches the spear out of his hands.
He disarms him.
3 times. He takes his weapon away from him 3 different times.
Oh, that is beyond humiliating for a royal prince.
And that's when the game ends. Prince Qi is enraged. He gives a signal to one of his generals, a guy named Huang Taisui, who's been waiting on the side.
And this is it. This is where it all goes south. Hong Taisui charges, but he's not going for Yuchi.
No, he makes a beeline straight for Qin Wang. It's a blatant assassination attempt.
In front of the emperor.
Total chaos.
Yeah.
Qin Wang is fighting for his life, and Yuchi has to intervene again. He dodges Huang Taisui's spear, hits him with his whip to throw him off balance, and then actually grabs the spear, wrestles it away, and kills Huang Taisui with his own weapon.
So dust settles, there's a dead general in the garden, and Prince Qi just tried to have his brother murdered in broad daylight.
You'd think this would be the moment the emperor finally acts. Yuchi reports, "I killed him because he was trying to kill the prince." It's an open and shut case.
But Prince Qi just starts screaming, right? He flips it completely.
Instantly, Qin Wang ordered his guard to murder my beloved general, execute Yuchi. It's just unbelievable audacity.
And Qin Wang is just standing there like, are you kidding me? If Yuchi hadn't killed him, I'd be the one who's dead.
So the emperor has to make a ruling. After seeing his cold logic earlier, what does he do?
He fails. He just completely fails.
Utterly. He admits Yuchi saved Qin Wang, so he pardons him. But then he turns to his sons, one of whom just tried to murder the other, and lectures them on brotherly love.
You're joking. He says, boys, play nice.
He basically says, you need to support each other. Stop fighting. It makes me sad. He treats a clear assassination attempt like two kids fighting over a toy.
That is just staggering.
It's the emperor's fatal flaw. He can't separate being a father from being the emperor. He wants family harmony, but the situation demands justice. By refusing to punish Prince Qi, he's basically saying it's okay.
He's signaling that there are no consequences for trying to kill Qin Wang.
None. And that leaves Qin Wang in an absolutely terrifying position. Logic saved him once, brute force saved him a second time, but his luck is going to run out.
The message is clear. The system will not protect you. Your father will not protect you.
If you want to live, you're on your own.
And that just forces everyone to escalate. If the ref won't call a foul, the game just gets dirtier.
And a lot more violent.